Recording.
What?
Doing two things at once. You're clever. Money, EU.
No, we can always change it.
Okay.
Well,
Alright.
it is recording after all.
Yes, I know. That's what I said. Recording. Clever. You're doing two things at once. I didn't realise it.
Didn't realise I could do that.
Okay. Letter from Sour Venom, who writes, question for Yahweh.
Where's Star Venom from?
Look, I think he's from South America, Spanish speaking from South America. Let's read what he has to say. He says, what does wasting your life mean according to you? So the question is to Yahweh. And he goes on, I mean, I know a lot of people that are wonderful, loving people, have a beautiful family and a beautiful home. The father works on a very important company. Most of them are Catholics, and they do what they think is right according to them. They go to church every Sunday. They pay taxes and make charity to poor people in the streets. They believe in the Jesus depicted in the Bible and the one coming in the clouds with great power with the angels. But then when everything seems to be okay and in its proper places, the question pops up. What if it doesn't matter how loving a person you are, or if you make charity, or if you read the Bible, or if you go to church, or if you are the nicest person ever? What if the most important thing is none of that, but to acknowledge Brian Leonard Golightly Marshall as God, Yahweh? If so, then they are living a lie, believing in a lie. What if it's all about being humble enough to recognize Brian as God? God never said go forth and create religion and slave humankind. Then he goes on, I'm not talking about my own family. I think that the only members in my family that actually believes that Brian is God is me and my mother. My father and my sister and my whole other family members don't. They still believe in the Bible Jesus. They're still asleep. I have dropped school because I don't want to get brainwashed and indoctrinated. I quit watching TV for a long time now, about 3.5 years ago. I quit going to the cinema and to markets. I quit smoking, by markets, supermarkets. I quit smoking and drinking. And by drinking, I mean I didn't drink every day or week, but every now and then. And then I quit eating pork and soft drinks. I try to stick to vegetables instead of any kind of meat. Now, he's doing all the right things. It's all about looking after the temple, which houses the Spirit of God. I know it's not my job to save anyone or to even try to convince anyone that Brian is God. It's everyone's job to do so. He says, I have 2 friends only because every time I get to meet another person and we start a conversation in the religion thing, will eventually pop up along it. And when it does, I have no more remedy than telling the truth that Brian is God. So people prefer to stay away from me because of that. So the question that's in my head is, am I doing these things right? It seems I get rejected everywhere I go. I feel hated and alone. The only one I don't argue with is my pet. And it's got Moon. Pet Moon. I don't know whether that's the name of his pet or he's got a moon that is a pet. And also I want to ask Brian, what does apophysis mean? And now he spelt it O-P-O-F-I-S-I-S. He says, when I was 17 years old, I used to hear inside my head telling me, apophysis, apophysis, apophysis. I would imagine that word would be apostasy. And he's written it the best way that he could. So now apostasy, of course, is the great falling away from God. Now, how do people fall away from God? Because of all the reasons that Sauer outlined in his letter. They've been indoctrinated. They've been brainwashed, going to their churches, following their religious dogma and doctrine. And yeah, the information that was essential about Yah, the Father, and his coming as the most royal man, all of that has been manipulated and removed from the psyche of the majority of people because they're in their schools, institutions, and reading the book that Lucifer put together to trap everybody. So that's the apostasy. Everybody falls away from him, and they don't recognize him. It really is only the very, very few that do. And it does take a great deal of humility. Nobody likes to learn that they've been deceived by their schooling, their government, their pastors and their preachers. At every level of society, they're doctors who know nothing.
Food, water.
That's right, with the food
Soft
and the
drinks,
water,
beer,
everything that's been
alcohol.
poisoning you, and people are not thinking straight. They've been set on this path to seek out pleasure and entertainment, sports, sexual immorality. It's all been a very deliberate design, and the Zionist Jew is behind it all. And they are the Rothschilds, the British royal family. They don't look like your typical Jew look. These
They
are
look like Jews. That's what Jews look like.
the Rothschilds.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah, yeah,
Queen,
he's
Jew.
right. Yeah,
He's a black Jew.
yeah.
That's what they look like.
Yeah.
Ugly.
Well, by that. Anyway, there's some great pickies up on Facebook.
So don't talk to anyone ugly.
Brett is doing a good job at photoshopping and got the Queen behind bars and a whole lot of people. July 4th, Independence Day, it's all the elite rounded up and behind bars. So it's Independence Day. It's awesome. So it's all coming to it's coming to a climax, if you like, in time. Remember, it's all about the synchronicity of time. And people will, those who are ordained to wake up will. And those who continue in their sleep, walking around dead, they will die out. We go most days, don't we, to the RSL down here. We're members of the RSL. Now in Australia, the RSL is the Returned Servicemen's League. So we are company when we are down there. We go to the Chatters Cafe and have a mocha and a salad roll for Yahweh. And we're surrounded by people who are old, mostly crippled, majority of them overweight, obese. They are dead. And how did they get that way? The poisons, food, water, the air that they breathe. Living in a club like the RSL, it's dark, surrounded by poker machines. At 10 o'clock in the morning, there's all these old people sitting around putting their coins, like robots, into a machine.
They take notes now.
That is, oh, Joel just said they take notes now. Oh my God.
They do, yeah.
They sit there at night, 10 o'clock in the morning, and that's what they do for hours because they're brain dead. They are the living dead. They're walking around dead. We are in the world of the dead. However, as we continue to move through the Vale, 69,000 kilometres per hour, and continue northward, and the evil schemes that they've been trying to pull off will not come to pass. Oh shit moments for them when nothing happens over the Olympics, all the scaremongering, everything that they've had planned. We know they've had it planned. They're going to try and take out, hundreds of thousands of people. If it's not there, it's an attack on Jerusalem. Whatever they've got planned, it will not come to pass. And the more they talk up war with them, these things will fall away and it'll be oh shit moments for them because we're all ready. They had to have accomplished all of these things before we crossed over December 11th last year, 2011, to the north side. They were able to get away with the things on the south side. That's their realm. That's where they belong. And that's where they're headed. Right? Because we're now back on the creation side. So that
Now, I should say, as far as the coming in the clouds is concerned, it happened. Most people weren't alive to see it. They're already dead. ascended, if you like. Because it happened in 1944.
Hmm.
That was coming in the clouds then. Now he's looking up anymore. Because the ones that didn't recognise me then are now dead. The ones that don't recognise me now will soon be dead, because they might inherit immortality. But the people like yourself will grow in numbers as the days shorten. We are actually 170 days away from 2012 and 21st of December, of course. And that is the number, 171 is the length of the Shroud of Turin. So it's another way of looking at it. You could take the top of the Shroud of Turin and cut a piece off it and then keep working your way down until you get to the Crown of Thorns, and that'll mean something on a certain date. So you can use that as a calendar. So there's many things that are all synchronised to line up with 21st of December 2012. But most importantly is the 24240 number and a 942 number, which you'll be familiar with it now. That's a slam dunk checkmate. That's it. So the reason they're getting all these plans in order and carrying them out is because they know they've got a big problem, me. That's what it's all about. Me.
That's why he's on the earth.
They know I'm here, so they're just getting into it and they're trying to take it over because they know it's been absolutely proven who I am. So therefore they know that the prophecy of Enoch is going to come to pass, and that is utter destruction.
Mm.
It's not the average Jew in the street. Leave the Jews alone. Such a small number, it don't matter. But they're trying to start a war, and of course, if all the Jews got killed by Iran, and that's the idea they're trying to put out there, who'd care? The Jews have been kicked out of 80 countries so far, so we kick them out of Palestine. So who would really care? Well, I would.
Mm.
And that's the point. I wouldn't do that to them. I'd be more inclined to sit down peaceably and talk to them and say, listen, this Talmud thing, it's got to go, it's stupid. And Israelis are pretty smart.
Mm.
Jews are smart. So far as your mother's concerned, she's got it right and you've got it right. And I wonder, who was it that got it right first, your mother or yourself? It'd be interesting. Anyhow, to feel lonely is, there's a lot of people out there feel lonely, so you're in good company.
And rejected.
And rejected. That's what it's all about, rejection.
Because God is rejected. So you're identifying with God.
Well, you're made in my image, so you've got the same emotions, the same compassions and thoughts and desires, the feelings of love. That's a God thing. You can't have both. You can't be evil and good at the same time. So that separates the tares from the wheat. So just hang in there, it's nearly over. If I was you, I'd just say, give them this address to look at it. It's this video, translated to Spanish. Put Spanish subtitles in again. See?
See? Okay, sour. Don't even know that we're pronouncing it right. Okay, later gators.
Hasta la vista.
Oh, honey, you have to do that. That's your machine.